Tesla stock is ridiculously, preposterously undervalued, and this spreadsheet proves it. I believe Tesla stock will at least 10x before the end of 2030, and that's why I only own Tesla stock in my stock portfolio. This is a very simple model, but a very revealing model. Here's what you need to know. This is basically the current price of Tesla stock right here, $225 per share. And then the PE ratios are based on the stock not changing, assuming that the stock stays the same, and assuming that the projections of earnings per share and net income come true based on operating margins here and auto gross margins here, we get this PE ratio. Meaning, for example, if the stock does not move up or down, just stays exactly in the same place, in 2030, if we go by Gary's projections, the PE ratio of Tesla stock would be 5.4, which tells us that the market basically says that GM is more valuable than Tesla somehow, that it's better to own GM than Tesla, obviously because GM electrified the whole industry, and of course that matters. Such companies such as Ford, of course, would also be better than Tesla stock, obviously. And of course, such company like Nissan that has a PE ratio of 12. Supposedly that's a better investment, huh? So, and by the way, the higher the PE ratio is, the more you expect the company to grow, if I oversimplify that. And I haven't told you the best part about this model yet, but just think about this. How likely do you think, first of all, this is based, 2030 is based on only 10 million deliveries, all right? And Gary is not as aggressive as retail Tesla stock investors. And you can see what the consensus of Wall Street is right here. Gary is, of course, on a more bullish side of Wall Street, no doubt about that. But when it comes to being conservative, you know, Gary, you can trust Gary's numbers. These are not exaggerated bullish numbers just to get someone's attention. This is what is rather conservative. So this is just based on 10 million vehicles, which just, I think that's the bare minimum that Tesla will deliver by the end of 2030. And now the average selling price in this model is $64,000 by the end of 2030. Tesla auto gross margins 32%. I think those are gonna go keep getting higher. Tesla operating margin 26.9%. Isn't that amazing? And of course, Tesla's adjusted net income is $180 billion in 2030. Now, I got an important question to you. Where on this spreadsheet, and this is a trick question, do you see full self-driving? Where on this spreadsheet do you see Tesla Energy? And we're not even going to get into Tesla insurance, which is guaranteed to make some money. It's not going to be a lot of money, but it is going to be some. Where do you see that on this spreadsheet? If you don't see it, that's because it's not in here, because it's not projected into the calculations. So all of this profit assumes that FSD is never going to work. This model assumes that Tesla Energy, as nice as it is, you know, it's not really going to work. This, of course, definitely, for sure, 100% does not assume that Tesla bot is going to work out. This is just the automotive part. This, my dear Tesla stock investors, is why I hold Tesla stock. And keep in mind, I keep telling everyone, I'm a conservative investor. Okay, I'm not someone who likes to gamble with my money. Absolutely not. I'm like, think about a person like that. I'm a complete opposite of whatever you are thinking right now. Complete opposite. I do not gamble with my money. So when I look at this case right here, which is pretty conservative, because to not include full self-driving is to assume Tesla will never solve full self-driving. And I fully get why Gary does not include it. And because he's a fund manager, it makes sense. It makes sense. If I was in his place, there's no way I would be including full self-driving. Like if I was running a fund like his, no way I'm basing my calculations based on what, you know, most people would call a dream. Except if I look at full self-driving videos. I mean, I have a very difficult time looking at videos like this, where you can clearly see it's in full self-driving mode, and no one is touching the wheel or the accelerator pedal or the brakes, and the car is just driving itself. I have a very hard time thinking that this is just a dream. I mean, I'm looking at it. This is proof it's possible. And knowing also Elon Musk just said on the Tesla earnings call that full self-driving, it's 100%. And look, this was not exactly the easiest intersection there. And the reason why Omar took control there for a moment was because he was picking someone up. So not an intervention. I actually haven't even seen this video. I just clicked on like a random video because I know if I click on any one of them, it's going to be pretty good anyway. Whereas a year ago, or not even just a year ago, just 9 months ago, I would click on like a random one, and every 30 seconds there would be a car would hard brake or do a super harsh turn. It really... FSD used to be a little bit of a pervert when it came to bicycles. It wanted to always nudge them and like touch them almost. Bad. I don't see that happening anymore. It's learning. And if you saw that video that I posted yesterday showing how fast the models of artificial intelligence are growing, they are increasing. The number of parameters in AI models is increasing by 10 times each year. And we thought that computers have been getting much better really fast for the longest time. And that is based on Moore's law, which says that the number of transistors double, not every year, but once every 2 years, basically. And now AI, the number of parameters, they double 10 times, not every 2 years, every single year, at least for the last few years, that is, and that is expected to continue. So when these things are improving at such an incredible rate, it is really hard for me not to look at this and think, this has no value. I think Gary's numbers overall are not really bullish when I look at them overall. And when I look at the PE ratio, if the price of Tesla stock does not change, they make about as much sense as Stephen Mark Ryan saying that Gordon Johnson has a healthy brain. And if we just follow Gary's model here until 2026, and we go with a P ratio of 10 here, I mean, the P ratio of 10, that would make so little sense. I mean, are you telling me that Nike is going to create more innovation and more growth than Tesla? Nike, that is trading at 25 PE ratio right now? Really? You're telling me that Apple trading at 23, almost 24 PE ratio is going to innovate and grow more than Tesla? Really? Let's not forget the Project Titan, which is the project where Apple has been trying to develop its own car for the last 10 years. which really, that's the wrong name to call a project that has been failing for about 10 years now. That project name is called Titanic, I think. And just to be clear, I'm not making fun of Apple. Okay, maybe I am, but I'm not saying Apple is a bad company. What I am saying is that it's completely irrational right now, and completely irrational that Tesla is valued at such a low price. And the more the stock drops, the bigger the insanity and absurdity gets. When you look at the deliveries of Tesla, they should really use this chart to teach the word off the charts to non-English speakers, because after looking at this chart just now, I really understand what the meaning of the charts means. It really helps me understand that a little bit better. I mean, how do I fit this on the screen? It's literally off the charts. It doesn't fit. These are 48 reasons why I only own Tesla stock. My name is Matt Hostess, reporting to you from Vancouver in Canada. I'll see you later today. Thank you.